How do you hold your team accountable? In this video, we'll explain how we do it with our teams, and stick around to the end because we'll give you some real life examples of some simple tools that will help you achieve more accountability in your workplace. Hey everybody, welcome to the iProv vlog. My name is Jordan Smith. As always, I'm joined by Patrick Laughlin. What's up, Pat?
What's up, Joe? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk a little bit more about alignment and specifically accountability, right?
Yeah, man. Well, without accountability, the ability to manage just does not exist. It's not a thing, right?
Yep.
And so building accountability in the workplace, it helps foster productivity. It creates engagement and it helps drive results. That's what you need. That's what we're in business for, is to get results. And that's what accountability does for you. So, good accountability is built around a really specific structure too. And you gotta, like everything, you gotta communicate that structure on a regular basis. It's not a one and done thing, right? So, and it needs to be managed and looked after pretty frequently too. So, that's sort of our recipe for making sure that responsibility and accountability are roadmapped to roles in the organization, right?
Oh, that's a great point. And, we always, whenever organizations hire us to consult with them, right? One of the things we look at is to see if they have an accountability problem. And it doesn't necessarily mean they've got an accountability problem. It just means they haven't put that structure in place, right? But real easy ways to figure out if you do have a defined problems are things like missed deadlines, mistakes that continually happen, right? If you're a business owner and you're watching this and you're saying, why does this same shit keep happening? Look at accountability first, right? Quality in work, really all over the place. Wide range of performance in your team, anxiety, lack of trust, all of those things tend to point us in the direction of, oh, okay, well, let's look at what your accountability structure is, right?
Yeah, let's figure out if there are people that know that they're responsible for this. Do they really understand their role? We say it all the time to our clients. Problems in the business come down to usually three things. Either everyone has got way too much to do and is just completely overwhelmed, and so they're just throwing things over their shoulder as fast as they can. They are way undertrained and they have no idea how to do what they're supposed to be doing, which is an accountability issue with management, with leadership. You're not doing your job. You're not, setting a pace and making sure that people have all the resources and training that they need to do their job, or they just don't give a shit. The people that are doing the job just don't care, which is rarely the case unless you just have a very toxic culture. And that happens, right? And a lot of times what happens in a toxic culture is managers become micromanagers, right? They just immediately get to this knee-jerk reaction where they have to put their thumb on everybody. And real growth can't happen that way. That's how you build bottlenecks and that's how you build tiny fiefdoms, and banana republics. But it's not how you build growing and sustainable companies. That has to come from a foundation of trust and support. Employees have to be motivated to do the right thing and take responsibility when no one's looking. So.
Well, and all those things kind of foster, like we keep talking about culture, but fosters kind of a culture of no motivation. Not even lack of motivation, but just a place where people don't enjoy being, right? Yeah. And a lot of people want to start with, well, let's do culture and let's stock the fridge and let's have a happy hour and let's do a coffee bar. Cool, all that stuff are fine little things, but if you don't have a true accountability structure, those are just Band-Aids over the problem. So it's real easy to kind of identify organizations that have an issue, or a lot of people that are watching this, it's probably real easy to point out the problems, but let's talk about kind of road mapping responsibilities and how to start putting some accountability in place and how to put some long-term fixes in there. So Pat, I've heard you say this, the first thing we always talk about whenever we set out a roadmap for folks to help fix some of these things First thing we always tell folks is establish clear expectations from the onset, right? From the very beginning.
Yeah. If somebody shows up at your business and on day one, they have no idea what you expect them to do every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year that they're there, how can you hold them accountable?
Yeah.
If you're not telling them exactly what you want out of them every day and how you expect them to do it, like they didn't come to work for you to guess their way to success in your business.
Yeah.
They didn't. They came to work for you to figure that part out for them. And so you have to start off thinking about what you want this person doing every hour that they're working for you, and from there, it's your job to make sure that they have resources. Isn't that right, Jordan?
Yeah. If employees don't feel like they're set up for success, they're more likely to place blame on outside resources or outside sources to explain why they haven't been successful, as opposed to holding themselves accountable, or the way that we talk about accountability, holding their leader accountable for not providing them with the sources or resources that they need to be able to provide the outcomes that we want in an organization. All right. And that's that last part, which is foster connection.
Yeah, and this is where there are lots of ways that you can do this. Connecting goals for their role to bigger, broader goals for the company. One of the things we like to do is tie compensation to performance. Yep. That is a great way to align a team member's actions to a team leader's vision. You help me get there, and I'm going to make sure that I reward you in a way that is substantive to you. And then, of course, provide collaboration. I think that giving team members the opportunity to work together and to learn from each other is crucial. It's huge, and you have to have those opportunities, or you're just not going to have a very healthy team.
Yep. Which is kind of the last part of this and how it all comes together, which is putting that structure into action. And one of the first things we always tell folks is once you've set these, we've identified the problem, we've talked about some long-term solutions to think about. Now put those things in action. Give feedback even when it's hard, and even receive feedback when it's hard, right? We're talking about accountability. If you're a leader and you're watching this and you've been nodding your head the whole time, guess what, boss man? You got to hold yourself accountable for not putting these things in place, right, Pat?
Yeah, I think a culture of candor is really, really important. And the only way that you can have a culture of candor is if you're putting deposits in the bank. It is really easy to tell somebody that they're doing a good job because most of the time they're going to be doing a good job. Mm-hmm. If you're making deposits into that bank, it makes it a whole lot easier to make the withdrawal when inevitably you have to. And you have to tell them, hey, listen, you have done such a fantastic job over here. It's really disappointing that you're screwing this up and surprising. They'll want to hear it at that point, and they'll know that it's coming from a good place because you're not just constantly seeing what's wrong all the time. You're genuinely expressing concern. And that comes back to knowing your audience, right, Jordan? You gotta make sure you're responding with different outcomes with different consequences, right?
Yeah, and if they fail to deliver, it's due to their own lack of accountability. But determine kind of what those appropriate consequences are, right, given the role. So maybe you don't entrust them with a level of the responsibility that you've been giving them, Maybe you decide to let them go. Maybe you decide to move them to a different seat. Again, that's all of you being accountable as a leader, as a business owner. Everybody likes structure. So, you got to make sure that on the other end of that coin, if they knock it out of the park, make sure to recognize their performance. All right, do it publicly and reward that outcome with whatever's appropriate in that specific context. Like we talked about public appreciation, cash prize, promotion, paid time off, whatever that reward system is going to be. You don't want to cultivate a culture of fear. And that's not what we're talking about with accountability. It's a structure of candor. It's a structure of knowing what desired outcomes everyone needs to deliver for this to be a successful organization. So you want to make sure that you're rowing in that direction, not creating a fear-based one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the truth is, for most employees, you're making way more deposits in the feedback bank than you are making withdrawals. For the ones that are getting withdrawn on all the time, they know that they're not a good fit, and you don't have to promote a culture of doom and gloom to them for them to find other opportunities.
Yeah.
And in fact, you know, they're gonna have fonder memories of you if you send them off in the right way and you help them find somewhere that is more conducive to the way that they do business. A culture that is better for them. And so, you know, fear is a motivator, but it doesn't last long, and it doesn't breed healthy cultures. You know, that will outlast you as a business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only so long you can motivate people with fear. So, you know, we're all in it for the long haul. So we'd love to hear about how you guys foster accountability in your organization. So, also, if you've got questions, if we've talked about some things that have hit a note with you guys and you want some more specific information, do more than like, subscribe, comment, reach out to us and let us know. We're always available, always willing to help. Pat, until next time, peace, peeps.
Peace.